my fellow concerned friends. How are you guys doing? How has your week been? It's Wednesday. I haven't seen you guys since Monday. What has gone down in these last 2 days? Let me know down below in the comments. And hey, if you're new here, thank you. Thank you for stopping by. For my returning viewers, I mentioned this in the last video that this year I want to start doing more updates on videos that I have already covered because a lot of the topics that I talk about end up having some sort of updates or things change and things progress, yada, yada, yada. So today is the first round of one of those update videos, and I want to update you guys on the Resilient Jenkins. Do you guys know who that is? If not, congratulations, because the Resilient Jenkins family is like watching a train crash that never ends, because the people who are supposed to intervene when there is a train crash are not coming to intervene, and it has us all wondering, why? How is this happening? This is so unfair to these kids. Okay, and I'm getting ahead of myself. I am getting ahead of myself. Obviously, clearly, I have already made a couple videos on the Resilient Jenkins, so I will have those linked up here if you guys want to pause this video and go watch those ones for a little bit more in-depth background on them. But I will give you guys a little speed run on a little backstory that is the Resilient Jenkins. The Resilient Jenkins is a TikTok account, Facebook account, Instagram, whatever platforms they have at this point, account run by Stephanie Jenkins, which is the mother in this family situation, okay? And they went viral on TikTok. They blew up, their account took off, and everybody knew their names, faces, and all of their business because they posted this video where they discuss being a family of 6 going on 7 living in a 1-bedroom apartment. And as you can assume and guess, yeah, that sparked a lot of outrage and controversy.
As you can read in the caption above, we're a family of 6 going on 7 living in a 1-bedroom apartment. As the kids grow older, that means we constantly have to adapt our environment to give them more means for privacy and extra space. When outside our environment appears cluttered, disorganized, what have you. But quite frankly, after making do for nearly 3 years now, I have nothing but a grateful spirit for the roof over our head. Generally, the instant judgment me and my husband receive, why have so many kids if you don't have enough space for them? See, my perception is judgment comes from a place of not having the experience. When you've experienced enough, you generally don't judge people. I can tell you after everything I've been through in the past 3 years, there's very little I have to judge people on. I would be lying if I said there wasn't a point in my life that I was so naive that I might have judged a poor person based off their appearance. And like I said, I have learned a lot. I generally look like I'm roughing it, but that's because our kids come first. I do everything I can to keep our environment clean and tidy. When it comes down to it, I could shove everything my kids have in 1 bedroom of some of these houses I see, and it would really look like nothing. We try to teach our kids to take care of what they have, be grateful for what we have, and keep praying and pushing for the growth that we want. Appreciate y'all watching. See you in the next video.
I want to take a pause right here and talk about poverty for a second because I understand poverty. And I am even mutuals with a family on TikTok who is a family of 5 living in a 1-bedroom apartment. And I think that we need to lay some ground rules here that say you don't know everybody's situation. So just because we're talking about the Resilient Jenkins and how crusty and disgusting and terrible they are, just know that if you come across another family whose living situation may not look as ideal as you think it should, does not automatically mean that they are bad parents or that they're not taking care of their kids. For instance, the family that I'm mutuals with on TikTok, they're a family of 5 living in a 1-bedroom apartment, and they go over a lot of the reasons that they have chosen this living situation. And the number one reason is to be able to save money because eventually they'd like to be able to have their own house, but they make it work. I mean, for a long time. Hi guys, editing Danielle here. You heard that too, right? I am holding my breath hoping that doesn't happen again. And if it does, I am deeply, deeply sorry, and I will get that fixed before the next video. This will be a roller coaster. I'll do my best to make sure it doesn't happen again, but if it does, I am very sorry from the bottom of my heart. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. The mom and dad were in the bedroom, and the kids were out in like the general open area. But that was because the mom had gone through brain surgery and she needed that quiet, calm, set apart place to be able to recover. And since then, now the kids are in the bedroom, mom and dad are out in the living room, and they have done a million different like combos with the living room and mom and dad's bedroom set, and they make it work. And not to mention the place that they live, there is a million amenities like a pool, etc., etc. So I say all of that to say that just because you may see somebody's living situation that looks different than yours, or maybe in your mind you're like, I could never live like that, don't automatically assume that that person is okay where they're at, right? Like, you don't know how hard they're working to get out of that situation. You don't know everybody's situation, okay? So just because we're talking about the resilient Jenkins being in this kind of situation and being bad people, which we'll talk about all of that, does not mean that if you see another family living in a motel, that automatically means those parents are neglecting their kids, they don't care about their kids, and they want nothing better for their kids just because the resilient Jenkins are that way. Okay, I'm glad we got that out in the open and we cleared the air there. But all of this is not the case for the resilient Jenkins. Stephanie and Drew don't have medical issues that literally required them to be separated from the kids for recovery purposes. Stephanie and Drew chose the bedroom because they wanted to have their own space, their own privacy. And they did. They had a dresser, they had a bed, they had LED lights, a tapestry on the wall, and of course, as she calls him, King Daddy Drew. I hate that I said that. Always has to have his PS5. If you guys know anything about the resilient Jenkins, it's that Drew Jenkins is always at his PS 9 to 5, if you know what I'm saying, and it is never ending. That man is constantly walking around with headphones on his ears. Meanwhile, their children were sleeping in the kitchen and living room, okay? Not in beds, on like mattress pads, on the floor. Okay? Not to mention, no curtains on the window in the living room that they're sleeping right in front of, just a sheet haphazardly hung up, okay? They're right by the front door. And at the time when she was going viral, there was no extra locks placed on the door. And these kids' ages range from like toddler, especially now she has a baby now, toddler ages then all the way up to like the oldest I think was like maybe like 10. I don't care about the kids' ages and stuff because it's privacy, it's private. I don't need to know those kids' ages, okay? I know enough about them already. I would never sleep knowing my toddlers to 10 years of age kids were sleeping right next to the front door where they could easily unlock that one little lock, open it, and elope. Or God forbid, a stranger comes at night and knock, knock, knock. Oh, you can trust me, kids. Just let me in. Like so many different scenarios with that front door. And it took so many people calling Stephanie out before she finally got like some reinforcement for the door. She got one of those like stick things that you put underneath of the doorknob and kind of jam so that if somebody tries to like open the door from the outside, it makes it harder for them. But that still didn't fix the issue of the children. The irresponsible, immature children from being able to like let their curiosity get the best of them and go elope and run outside, okay? Which is something kids might do, which is why as parents, it's our job to make sure that they can't do those things, okay? While also teaching them to not do those things. Duh. Like I said, these kids were sleeping in the kitchen and living room area, okay? So these kids had free reign of the kitchen all night, with no supervision. Not like they have to like creak their door open and tiptoe past mom and dad's room and don't get caught. There was none of that. Mom and dad are tucked in nicely and safely in their room and their bed. Meanwhile, the kids are sleeping on the floor next to the damn bleach, next to the damn butcher's knife, next to the damn stove. I mean, I don't know about anybody else's kids, but my kids are very curious. My kids are very curious, and my kids crave independence so much, and I love that. But you know, kids who crave independence often feel like they can do things, and they are capable of doing things that they are not yet capable of. And I think all kids are very smart, okay? And so I would not be surprised if Stephanie's kids probably would end up being curious and going to the kitchen and wondering, I've seen mom make eggs. I don't know what time it is because I can't read a clock. I'm a baby, I'm a kid, but I'm hungry for some eggs right now. How about I just mosey my way on over to the fridge, get out the eggs, and I'll do what I see mom do, and I'll turn these buttons and knobs on the stove, and I will just do my best. Fire, burns. Like, so many things could go wrong. And people were asking her, why can the kids not sleep in the bedroom? Like, why can't you and Drew sleep in the living room / kitchen area and let the kids have the bedroom? Like, sure, it would be cramped, right? Because they're a family of 6, going on 7. So that means that they have 5 kids, 4 to 5 kids. At the time, I think it was 4 kids. I had to make sure I was right. Yes, at the time it was 4 kids, which really is not even impossible in a 1 bedroom to put 4 kids in 1 bedroom. And now I know a lot of you are going to be like, Danielle, whoa, that is way too many kids in 1 bedroom. We should not be saying that that's acceptable. I'm not saying that that's acceptable. I'm saying that it's doable. In certain situations and circumstances where you would need to make that work, it is absolutely doable. And I've done it. When I was in foster care, some of my foster homes, yes, would have 2 full-ass bunk beds and 1 small room. But obviously very doable. Stephanie and Drew could have so easily moved all of their stuff out to the living room and given that room to their kids. They could have bought 2 bunk beds and 4 mattresses, and all 4 of their kids would have had their own personal space. Okay, because if you've never been on a bunk bed before, or you have never seen a bunk bed before, I don't know who wouldn't have at least seen one, but Google it if you haven't, okay? Otherwise, just use your imagination with me, okay? Your little section on your bunk bed, whether it's the bottom or the top, is like kind of like your own tiny room, okay? When I was in college and I had to sleep in bunks, I decorated the hell out of my bunk bed. I always got the bottom bunk because I was always like first on campus because I was a contract student and I never left. I worked year round for the school. Anyway, but I always got first dibs on the bunks and I decorated the hell out of my bunk, okay? I mean, I got twinkle lights and threaded them through like the bottom bars of the top bunks so that I always had like my own like personal like lighting system. I had my own little like lamp on my, what are those things called? Often popular with like college students, like a bed desk or something. It was like this wooden thing that people at my college, and I know that they sell them everywhere. Like it's not just a my college thing. I'm just forgetting what they're called. But like it's made of wood and you could like slide them onto like your like the flat part of your headboard. Now you have like a little desk thing. I mean, pictures all over the wall. The whole thing was decked out. I even had curtains that I could like slide closed, and then my entire like pod was just walled off and I was in my own little world and it was fantastic. That's what these kids could have had. But they couldn't do that. You know why? Money. No money for that. No money for bunk beds for their kids so that their kids can have privacy at least in the living room, right? No money for that. No money for mattresses, which is why her kids were sleeping on mattress toppers on the floor. That is until they decided to put together a wish list. And a whole bunch of really good-hearted people really thought to themselves, if we go ahead and give them, if we buy these people all of their basic necessities that they need, right? Bunk beds for their kids, new mattresses for their kids, clothes for their kids, hair products, all of these things that could really put this family like on a good foot and maybe at least give them a better functioning home. We can do this and maybe they'll be better, right? Maybe this will give them that push into success that they need. And that's not what happened. That's not what happened, because once these bunk beds came, they stayed in the kitchen. And Stephanie and Drew stayed in the bedroom with their nice bed and their dressers and their TV and their PS5 while the kids were still left in the living room and kitchen. And now, yeah, maybe things were a little bit better because now they had a bunk bed. And I'm pretty sure if I remember right, at least one of them had gotten a mattress or something. It still wasn't safe. And they still were not prioritizing these kids first, all the while being very open about their marijuana use. I don't think that using that inherently makes you a bad parent. However, when your need to consume it comes before your children's wants and needs, that's where we have a problem, okay? And that's where we're running into a problem with this family, because they're openly sitting here making jokes about how they use it and trying to be relatable with how they use it and whatnot, while their kids' basic needs are not being met. They're not giving up their little green plant. They're not selling that PS5. They're not giving up their bedroom. And guys, could it get any worse? It can. They had cats living there too. And now I'm going to fast forward through a lot of this, okay? Eventually they do end up getting evicted, okay? And they end up getting evicted because one of these children is not Stephanie's, it's Drew's son, okay? We're going to call him Austin, all right? This kid, Austin, is Drew's child, okay? Austin is Drew's child, so Austin is Stephanie's stepson. Well, when Drew got the apartment that they were all staying in, it was actually just supposed to be his apartment that he shared with his son. Oh, my nose is itching. Austin, because this was supposed to be like assisted housing and stuff. So like there's strict parameters about who's supposed to be living here, right? So it was just supposed to be Drew and Austin. Now here comes Stephanie and all three of her kids, and her and Drew end up making another child whom she is now carrying, meanwhile having a bunch of cats. And yeah, word gets around because they're posting it publicly on social media. Hello. And eventually, I guess the landlords or whoever's like running this operation, whatever, they find out and they say, you guys have got to go. Okay, for whatever reason, maybe it's not safe, fire hazard, it doesn't matter. And they did not take their eviction seriously enough for me, guys. I'm not even kidding. I was sitting like biting my nails. I'm like, I am so nervous for your children. Like, where are you guys going to move? Because they're basically just sitting there with their hands under their butts, waiting for like housing to fall into their lap. Okay, and so eventually they get to the literal end of the line and they end up having to stay in a motel. And that's where they have been ever since, is in a motel. But before we get into the motel stories, I cannot move on to the motel stories without telling you guys about their cats. Remember how I said they had cats in that situation? Well, it's kind of hard to move motel to motel and be homeless with cats, as well as 5 children, well, 4 and 1 on the way at this point. So what did they do? They took their time and they found great loving homes for these cats. They vetted the people taking them in, and no, I'm lying. I wish I wasn't. These people literally just abandoned their cats, put them outside, abandoned them, and also tried to deny it. They tried to say in videos like, oh, we're so sad, we're gonna have to get rid of our cats and they can't come with us, and just kind of like beating around the bush about what they actually meant they were doing. But yeah, they just abandoned their cats to the point that another TikToker who was aware of where they lived was able to locate their old apartment buildings and actually found the cats, and they are thriving, happy, and healthy today. So there is at least one positive from this entire train wreck of a story, because I have nothing else positive to share with you guys. So into the motel horror stories. By the time they moved into the motel, they had already had their 5th child. So moving into the motel, there were 5 kids. So at this point, ranging in age from newborn to, like I said, maybe like 10, 11. They went from a 1-bedroom apartment to a motel. And they have been living in this motel since March of 2025. So we are coming up on almost a year of 5 kids and 2 adults living in a motel, 1 room, sharing 1 bathroom, because their parents refuse to get a job and fight for them. And this is the part that makes me so upset, is like, how can you for a year straight tell your audience, oh, we're doing everything we can to get out of this situation, we're doing everything we can, and yet I have yet to see either of them have an actual job. I don't understand why nobody is working. And I, as a mother, it makes me so incredibly angry for these kids, because why is nobody stepping in? Like, I'm genuinely not being mean when I say this. Since this family has started posting publicly to social media, I have literally never seen them improve their life. It has only gotten worse and worse and worse, and I have never seen them do anything to try to make it better. It's so confusing to me. It genuinely feels like they are waiting for like the lottery to fall into their lap, as if that even did happen, they would be responsible enough to even use that lottery money to make their life something greater. Because they have made money through TikTok. They are making money through TikTok, especially TikTok Shop. That's like all Stephanie posts about now is TikTok Shop, which, yes, go you. That is making money and that is trying something, but where is that money going to? Because it's been almost a year in the exact same hotel and your kids are going through the exact same day over and over and over again. And if you watch this content, you see how miserable these kids are. And there are even times when it almost sadly feels like they're calling out for help. One instance I can think of is when Drew was going live and he was talking about their newest baby, because there's a lot of concern around their newest baby and the fact that her eyes don't look quite right. And now Stephanie is not really showing her kids anymore, although she definitely used to. And she's not showing her kids because she cares about their safety online, because she literally had her daughters online teaching them how to twerk. Mind you, these girls are like barely out of toddler years to me. Okay, barely out of toddler years, and was seriously trying to teach these girls how to twerk on camera for her social media, okay? So she didn't stop posting her kids out of a concern for their safety and their digital footprint. That had no part of this. She stopped showing her kids because people started pointing out her baby's eyes and started asking questions like, what's wrong with her? She doesn't look okay. She's not looking normal, especially because she had shown baby previously where baby looked normal previously. So people started suspecting, was she shaken? Did you shake her? Was she dropped? Did she fall off of something? And this whole time, Stephanie's denying any of this and saying, if anything, it's just seizures. Because if you don't know this, King Daddy Drew also has seizures and medical issues as well, which prevents him from having a job. Not PS 9 to 5 though. He is always clocked into that PS 9 to 5. If only it paid. If it paid, I think they'd be rich. However, in this clip from one of Drew's live streams, you can hear Drew discussing everything that's going on with this baby, and you can hear one of the children in the back say something extremely disturbing. And it confirms, allegedly, that this baby is falling off of surfaces.
She had another seizure. She's still kind of delirious. I don't know exactly what that means, but they said all the brain whatever is still fizzing. I'll explain in a minute. Hold on. Yeah, all of her brain whatever is still fizzing or whatever. So they said it's going to take a couple days for that whatever to calm down, I guess. And then they're going to, I don't know. So the fizzing, I wasn't there. That's not a medical term. No, it's not a medical term, and I am not good with medical terms, so I'm just doing the best I can. If you guys want info, then just take it as is. Yes, my daughter is okay. So I don't know exactly. Again, I had just got done cleaning. She just got back from doing laundry. She was just going through some laundry on the bed. I just got done cleaning. She was just chilling on the couch, just standing up. I just got done cleaning, and I was what was I doing? I think I was just zoned out for a minute, because I just got done cleaning for the past couple hours, and it was just chilling, relaxing, and then Babe was like, "Oh, she's having another seizure." I'm like, "Okay," and yeah, she's just on the floor again. No, she went to the hospital on Tuesday as well. No, she's not falling off the couch. There's no thuds. There's none of that.
She fell off the bed yesterday.
Like, that's scary and heartbreaking. And that same daughter is already being parentified, because another bowl of hot water that Stephanie and Drew keep finding themselves in is that they let their kids play outside unattended. They let their kids stay in the car unattended because they like it. And I'm not going to show it because I don't show kids on my page here, but there was even a video that Drew took. Oh no, it was his live. He was live, and then I guess people were saying something about it, so he took the camera outside to like prove that the kids are okay. And wouldn't you know it, it's the oldest daughter who's taking care of all of the other kids, holding them, bouncing them. And mind you, like I said, the oldest kid is like maybe 10, 11 years old. And it's not the daughter, it's Austin, as we labeled him earlier, okay? Parentification of children, that they're not happy. Children who have to be the parent to their siblings are not happy. Just because kids are quiet and they may seem occupied does not mean that they're happy. Just because the kids are not in your hair and they are not annoying you does not mean that they are happy. But the latest hot water they have found themselves in, and the reason I am here for an update, is another damn wish list, guys. Another damn wish list that is not their fault, okay? So let me break this down for you. There was a wish list that was released to the internet. Hey, people, here's a wish list, buy things off of it. that was Stephanie and Drew's wish list. It had kids stuff in it, like, their kids' sizes and clothes and yada, yada, whatever. And people were buying stuff off of it. And it was going to Stephanie and Drew's motel. They're getting it. And then they had to make some posts saying, hey guys, that's not our wish list. We didn't actually make that wish list. Somebody else hacked our account. You guys are just gonna have to listen to this yourself, because this might be one of the most absurd things it's actually not one of the most absurd things I've heard, because my dad liked to smoke on the ice, if you know what I'm saying. So I've heard some crazy things, and what I will say is this kind of behavior and thought process about things that just don't make sense is the same stuff I was hearing from my cuckoo crazy dad, who should probably be back in prison.
Let me ask y'all something. If you receive an item that you know you have on your Save for Later in your Amazon cart, knowing you didn't give that information to anybody, are you going to show gratitude, or are you going to be a little freaked out? See, I found it odd when people kept telling me that me and Drew shared a wish list over the holidays when I knew damn well we didn't. And while I'm not going to lie and say that we didn't receive anything, because we did receive some stuff that was on a wish list that I didn't even share. Which means there's only one explanation of that. Somebody hacked into our Amazon and took it upon themselves to share a wish list. And they've gone even further, because they've taken items that I've had in the cart and just sent them to us. And I'm tossing between, like, I'm grateful and I'm also creeped out, because why would you take it upon yourself to hack into somebody's Amazon and send them stuff that they didn't ask you for? And it takes me back to this time when I was a young mom with my first baby, and my sister took my baby to Build-A-Bear for the first time without me. I remember being so bitter, but then I was like, why would I be bitter? At least my baby got that experience. Yeah, I'm pissed off you invaded our privacy, but I'm grateful for the things that are provided.
What? Are you confused? Good, because that makes no sense. That makes no sense at all. Have you ever heard of a hacker or a scammer hacking into somebody's, like, money information sort of thing? Because, like, Amazon's, like, linked to your debit card and stuff like that. Have you ever heard of a hacker getting that close to having your information and being able to steal all of your money, okay, and then using it to bless you with more things and money? That's never happened. And if it ever happens, it's definitely not happening to the resilient Jenkins. Nobody is Robin Hooding the resilient Jenkins. So she's saying somebody shared a wish list that was her and Drew's wish list. Somebody shared it, but it wasn't them. So that leaves only one explanation. Someone hacked me. Someone hacked me. Now, if you grew up with parents or family that were addicts, what you know about that phone hacking? Oh, I know a lot. All right. The last time I talked to my biological dad, I had to cut him off because he recently had just got out of prison after my whole life. He went into prison for rugs with a D. D-R-U-G-S's. All right. Lost my dad for my whole childhood. And as soon as he gets out of prison, guess what he does again? The same thing. All right, and I held out hope so bad. I was like, nah, my dad's not doing that. That's not my dad. I swear. He's just going through a funny little phase. He's just trying to readjust to society. Like, a lot has happened in 20 years. Yeah, I started getting like a million calls and texts from him because apparently from a different state, I have hacked his phone. I am spying on him. It had to be me. There's no other explanation. It had to be me. All right, he's got like 20 phones like it. I don't know. Nothing is making sense. And this is what this is reminding me of that situation a lot. Like, what do you mean? That is the only logical conclusion you came to, is that you had to have gotten hacked. I think, here's my guess, is maybe they're doing a little too much huffing and puffing on a substance and got a little carried away and did something maybe they don't remember, or something that they do remember and regret now, so it's easier to just say someone hacked me, or they really genuinely do think someone hacked them. Okay, and it goes on. She has made 2 follow-up videos on this entire situation. 2 follow-up videos, so let's watch those now.
So if you watched my previous post that I posted before this, you're already caught up. If not, go ahead and catch up, because I'm not going to catch you up, honey, all right? But let's continue. Like I was saying, over the holidays and just recently, we have received some stuff that is directly on our Amazon cart. In our Amazon cart, my bad. And here's the thing with it. I get that when you post yourself on social media, you do open up the possibility for people to be weirdos and take it upon themselves to be like, I know your address, I can do this, I can do that. But in my opinion, that does not make it right. Now work with me, I have no voice because I have not been feeling good for over a week now. But you see, my perspective of people on social media is that it's no different than watching TV. You don't have any say over what's going on in the actors and actresses' lives and the people that are playing the roles when you watch TV. So why the fuck you think you do with people on social media? It's just wild because y'all really think that just because we everyday people, you have a say in our life. But back to it, because I really just find it odd that people take it upon themselves to get into somebody's Amazon account and order stuff directly from their cart and think that they're doing them a favor, and it's not freaking creepy and weird. You know every bit of my kids' clothing sizes and everything I have saved in my safe for later with no permission whatsoever. I never asked you to send anything to my kids because, quite frankly, whoever's doing this is low-key a stalker weirdo. But then, Stephanie, why keep the stuff? Why not just give it back and send it back? Because here's, like I said in the last video, if you caught up, there comes a point in time when you have to ask yourself, is these items, these things that people are sending us going to benefit my kids? Probably. So my stubborn ass needs to set aside my ego and realize that the stuff is already here. Might as well freaking keep it so it can benefit my children, right? I don't know. Like I said, I'm tossed in between this one. This one's a weird one for me.
Stephanie, let's be serious, dude. You know you shared that wish list. You know you shared that wish list. There is no random weirdo stalker who randomly knows all your kids' sizes and stuff. That did not happen. There is not a single soul on this earth that would look down on you with that much grace, Stephanie. Your kids, yes. Yes, but nobody is going out of their way to hack your Amazon to bless you with your wish list as well as random items you had in your cart. And also, if you are putting your life online, like your personal private details of your life online, especially when that involves children, and you are putting those children in harm's way, you are neglecting those children, yes, people absolutely can have a say to criticize you and report you to CPS. Although it doesn't really look like that's going to do anything, huh? But yes, people can absolutely criticize you when you are being a terrible mother and not putting the safety of your children first and neglecting their emotional and physical needs. Yeah, people are going to criticize you. They're not going to pat you on the back and tell you you're doing a great job, sweetie, because you're not.
I wanted to take a second and address, because people are still asking me, even though I did post about this, but I'll say it again. Drew and I did not post any wish lists. We did not post wish lists. So if you're seeing wish lists pop up in Drew's name or in my name, somebody did that shit. And if you want to know, like, they next level trolling, they put cat stuff on these wish lists. Like, y'all, they want something to talk about. They want something to talk about. And I really do appreciate those of you that purchased items off the wish list thinking that it was legitimate and you just had the intentions of blessing the children. Luckily, the items are getting here because they actually used the address of the motel. They went through steps of making it look as legitimate as possible by using, like, our names, the address of the motel, this and that, and, like, things that they think that our kids would be needing. And the funny thing is that, like, the items on the wish list are things that Drew and I would never even be putting on the wish list. So again, that's not to say that these items aren't appreciative or that our kids aren't using them, because the things that we have received in the past few days, the kids are loving them and they are currently using them. But that being said, we did not post any wish lists. In the future, or if we were to post any wish lists, you would be able to find them directly on our profile. And if you go to both Drew's profile on TikTok, Facebook, my profile, and all of my platforms, we do not have a wish list posted right now. Anyways, that's what I wanted to get at, because I feel bad that people are still being scammed by this. It legit is not Drew and myself that are posting wish lists. We haven't posted a wish list back since we were back in the other apartment. I'm not trying to sound ungrateful, because, like I said, we are receiving some stuff and we appreciate it, but it's just not items that we put on a wish list ourselves. I didn't plan to put up a wish list until potentially we're out of this motel, and at that point I might put up some kind of wish list that's like a housewarming kind of thing. And I'm just putting this out there because I don't want people to be like, she said she'd never post wish list. I didn't say that. Y'all can keep trying to put words in my mouth, but I know what the fuck I say. And then keep trying to put my own words in my mouth. Like I don't know what I say. That's even crazier. But anyways, I really appreciate y'all. And you guys, again, please understand that I actually am incredibly grateful for the things that we've received, despite it being through people just trying to troll and make their own posts. Like, they just wanted something to talk about, y'all, and it's working. So
Okay. So now the story is not that someone hacked Stephanie's Amazon and bought things out of her shopping cart and her wish list. Now it's that somebody created and uploaded a wish list using her and Drew's name, using their address, using the kids' sizes and things that they didn't even... None of this is making sense. And if this is the case, it sounds like someone is stalking your kids, dude. You should do something about that. Like, if you have somebody monitoring and stalking your children to the point that they know your kids' styles and sizes better than you, because you're talking about, this is stuff we wouldn't even put on the wish list, but our kids love it. Go report that to the police. You're in danger. Your kids are in danger. Like, how are you so airheaded that you're like, wow, well, someone knows everything about my kids and they're buying my kids all this stuff. How lucky are we? What an airhead! Hello? I think it's rugs. I really do. And my final note on this entire update, to really put the cherry on top on why I really do think that this is rugs, is this last video.
And you may be wondering why the abundance of washcloths in the bathtub, and here's the reasoning behind that. I gave up on the concept of wet wipes like a freaking few months ago. I lost track of how long it's been since I used wet wipes. But I have next level squirmy toddlers when it comes to being changed, and I'm not trying to have poo all over my freaking elbows, so I'd rather just pop them babies in the shower every time. And if that means they need to have 3 showers a day, so friggin' be it. Now that's a you do what you do, I do what I do type of situation, because you want to sit there and judge me, baby, you could learn some things from me, okay?
What? She gave up on wet wipes. Those things right there. Now listen, those little jerks can be really expensive. All right, I will give her that. And if you are struggling with poverty and you're living in a hotel motel, true story, you might not be able to always afford wet wipes, okay? And again, don't judge people who are going through poverty, okay? Help them or keep your mouth shut. Those are your 2 options, okay? These suckers can be expensive, but there is a difference between we couldn't afford wet wipes this week, so we're having to use rags instead or wet paper towels. Okay, me and my family, we definitely did not start out our family like not struggle. Like we struggled. Okay, we struggled a lot. I think I've talked about it before, but there was a period of time where in order to feed my kids, I think I had like 1 or 2 at the time, I was eating 1 potato a day. Okay. We were struggling, all right? So I get it, okay? Maybe you can't afford wet wipes and you make do with other things. You know, the whole wet paper towel trick, you know, cut up a t-shirt and get those wet. There was even a time that I was cloth diapering and I was using cloth wipes for a long time because that was cheaper than buying wet wipes and buying diapers. So I'm not knocking this at all right? And by the way, I freaking love cloth diapering, dude. I love cloth diapering. And I'll never have another kid a day in my life. But dude, if I can influence you to do anything with your kid, that is to try cloth diapering. Cloth diapers are the cutest things ever. And if you can like get around the learning curve of them, they're easy. They're just as easy as disposables. All right. Same with cloth wipes. I love cloth wipes. As long as you can get a good system going and you have like a lot of wipes, not just like a couple of them, it's fantastic. However, this is not that. This is pure laziness. I gave up on wet wipes. I think that you didn't give up on them, and I don't think it's that they're too expensive. I think that you would rather spend that money on something else. Hello? All right, and that's what is wrong with you as a parent? Not to mention, all right, there looked to be like not enough rags in that to be cleaning up messes, and I'm scared that we're just wiping, rinsing, and then putting down for the next use. That when you cloth diaper and you cloth wipe, if you've done it, you know that's not what you do, okay? Essentially, let me do a little example for you guys. Pretend that this is a fabric, okay? So typically what I would make my cloth wipes out of, because I can sew and stuff, I'm telling you, it's all about me, okay? And my motherhood stuff. I used to make my kids clothes too. I love sewing. I just don't have a sewing machine and a serger right now because when we were poor, I had to sell it. And I just haven't got another one. But anyway, I would make my kids cloth wipes. I would make them out of muslin blankets, or I would take like old t-shirts and I would cut them roughly into a square, and then I would serge around the outside. So it literally just like looked like a wipe, but it was cloth. And you have them in like a bucket with like some water, or like I would have mine like stacked up like in a basket. And then I would have like a little thing of water next to it. So I would take a dry wipe and then I would dip it in the water and then wring the water out. Clean water, clean wipe, then use it to wipe my kid. And then that wipe goes in the dirty laundry, the cloth diaper basket, okay? That's how you do it. This is not what I'm seeing here. That's not what I'm seeing happen here. And that scares me for these kids' health and hygiene. Not to mention, okay, not to be that Karen of a mom, 3 baths a day for a kid is gonna kill their skin, dude. That is not healthy. And listen, I am the kind of person where I'm wiping down my kids all the time. I mean, I don't like my kids being dirty at all. I don't like being dirty. So I look at them and if I see dirt on them and I think about it being on me, I'm like, I wouldn't like that. Let me help you get clean. I'm not giving my kid a bath more than once, maybe twice a day if there's like an emergency. Like if there is a giant mess that needs to be cleaned up, get in the bath, okay? But I am not that lazy of a parent that I'm like, ugh, you have a lot of poop in your diaper and like, ugh, I don't feel like using 50 of those. And also, I don't want your poop to touch me. So I'm just gonna rinse you off in the shower like you're a nasty pot and pan. And speaking of pots and pans, she had those shit rags next to her food dishes, bro. What is happening? I don't even know what's happening. But that's my update on the resilient Jenkins. I will continue to follow along and see if CPS ever decides to step in and actually do something about giving these kids a future to look forward to instead of a childhood to heal from. And that is all that we can do, is hope that something happens, some form of intervention happens so that these kids can be set up for success in their futures. But that's all I had for you guys today. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment how your week was down below. I've not forgotten. I'm ready to see your guys' comments and know how your week's going. And also let me know what you guys thought about this video down below. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing is like the best way to let YouTube know that maybe my content might be worth watching. I don't know. That's the best way you can let me know and YouTube know if you like what I got going on here. Okay? And if you do, I'll see you on the next one.